Yeah, a big welcome to you, my dear Aries, and always a big welcome to those zodiac signs that felt like that this specific constellation, which exists only once a year, has a message for them as well. This means that I always do the reading exactly on the day the moon is in your sign. That means if I look in the moon today, I see the constellation Aries behind it. And if I look into the sun, I see the constellation Scorpio behind it. And these are two very opposite energies. One is cardinal, one is beginning the spring, and one is fixed because it's clear that we will die one day, and this is a fact. And it's a water sign, and so there's two completely different energies coming together. One is Mars, ruled by Mars, and the first house, which is the self. And the other one is ruled by Pluto. And Pluto is the judge and the eighth house of reincarnation. So if you believe it or not, you will come back. You will have the chance to get a new body and to start all over again, right? So these two together is going to be fire and water, and we're going to see what the message is going to be this time. Just very quickly, the yoga position that I did for Scorpio is the Scorpio pose. Of course, we put the feet above our head, the ego. We let go of that ego and bring our feet there. Instead, so they know where to go. And for you, my dear Aries, I have always the meditation position with the chin mudra. With that, I understand from within that my body part is the head. My body part is only gonna be accessible through meditation, through a higher consciousness. The body parts for Scorpio are the 6 organs. Your court card is the Queen of Wands if your birthday is between March 12th and April 9th. Then this is your court card if it comes up in the reading. I'm gonna put it in here because I'm reading from left to right, the small cycle, which then is the spin the earth does around the sun in 365 days divided through 12, then gives an month, and so your zodiac sign. And last time you had a full moon, my dear Aries, because always in your opposite sign, which is Libra, you will have your full moon, and that's when you got a big reading, which is from right to left, which is from the inside to the outside, and the other one from left to right is from the outside to the within. And so we need both, right? So I do the reading always during the year, a small one, and then on your full moon you get the big one. And the big cycle is because the earth does a wobble on itself to the left spinning, and that wobble lasts 25,800 years divided through 12, then gives an age. We are currently in the age of Pisces. So behind Scorpio we have Pisces, right? So it's very interesting that these are two water signs now affecting you, and we'll have, let's see, it's energy, right? Giving you the light, because the moon right now is again getting full. We have a full moon on Tuesday and a lunar eclipse, so it's a very interesting energy. And already it's giving you that energy because the full moon is going to be in Taurus, and Taurus is coming up here as the King of Pentacles. And you see how the Fool, which is a state of consciousness, is going from right to left. And you can clearly understand that this is from inside to the outside. So the full moon in Taurus is gonna work on the money, is working on what is it really that you want to achieve in this life. You also see how he has the legs crossed, which is always a sign that I want to come into my center. I want to come into a place of here I am, here I feel comfortable because I incorporate the right and the left, the in and the out, the right and the left spinning cycle. On the position of the Magician, which is also a state of consciousness, and this state of consciousness is telling you that now you want to act upon this idea, upon this thought, right? You have this thought of what I'm going to do with the money, right? How I'm going to handle money, how I'm going to handle in general things that are quite with the earth, with Pachamama, and Pachamama is coming up and she's looking at him. And it's the number 40, right? So here you see Pachamama looking at him and saying, well, what are you going to do with all that money if you are not investing it into something that is going to give the earth back what you're taking from it? And this is the higher consciousness speaking, acting upon, having all the 4 elements on the table and being in your center through the infinite 8. Then here a 4 and a 0 is then your 4. You are here the number 4. It's also a state of consciousness, but this is already a responsibility. This is already you saying, okay, I'm going to act upon these ideas. And so you acting upon in a new way with the 0 here above, right? We have a new path that you want to take because he or she is looking this way as well, right? So you are actually looking at the Aries energy, the Taurus, and is saying, so what are you going to do with the money? What are you going to really do? And so here comes Pachamama saying, well, you're gonna do what is right, right? If you take, you have to give, and otherwise it's just not gonna work, right? Otherwise we're gonna deplete, we're gonna have no more resources, and this is what's talking here. On the position of the High Priestess comes actually also a state of consciousness, and this is talking about intuition. And this is the intuition that we can feel, that we have a wisdom over, and the 8 of Pentacles are coming up here. And the 8 of Pentacles speak about Sun in Virgo. And so this is a moment where you are realizing, okay, I want to be like this king, understand the finances, understand Pachamama, understand how I can handle Pachamama, the earth, right? And then the 8 is that infinite number that is saying, well, if you learn everything about how to handle money, how to work your craft, how to work, then money will come always, right? Money will always come, because this is the High Priestess that is not between the black and the white. She's in the center, and that's how she works. She works very clearly, not in between the dual energies, right? That's this dimension. She's already saying, I'm going to go into a higher consciousness. Then on the position of the Empress, which is also a state of consciousness, and that state of consciousness is giving birth to that idea the Fool had, the Magician acts upon, or is thinking, what I'm going to do now. And the High Priestess is literally saying, okay, my intuition is telling me to do this. My intuition is telling me I've got to really work on getting better with money, getting better with finances. And then I get the strength, I get la force, right? And so this is Leo, but on the position of the Justice, which is the number 11. And so here in this tarot, we can see that there is a switch between the number 8 and the number 11. And so you're giving birth to a new consciousness that is like taming the wild, taming all these things that we sometimes barely think we have a control over, but for some reason she does. She has also the infinite 8 above her in her head as a hat. And we can see that you are concerned and that you are wanting to control and work on this strength. And then comes you, right? You have now tamed this big lion, and look, now you have a little kitty cat sitting there and looking at you and being like, yes, my dear, what do you want? What do you want me to do, right? So here the taming of this wild side is actually bringing also then a union, the same way the union comes between the black and white always, right, that we learned through the Empress. And then, of course, this card is literally saying become wise, become infinitely understandable about the resources here in this dimension, right? This is always connected. The coins is connected with money, is connected with the earth, and is connected with the people who were handling the money. And so is Taurus. Taurus is a handler. Taurus is someone that's saying, I know how to handle money, because that's what they do, right? And so you are here understanding the wild side, that if you tame it, you understand it. And then on your position comes the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands, the wands are about the farmers that took care of the land. And the wands are actions. We have to do things to get food on the table. We have to work hard. And so the Seven of Wands is Mars in Leo. So Mars, not in your sign, right? Your planet in Leo, in the sign that has come here, because this is Leo, and for some reason you have learned to tame it. You have learned to work with it, with this wild side, because you have that wild side within you, but here you have just a little cat. You don't have like Leo, a lion. Nevertheless, on your position comes a Seven of Wands, and that is telling you, you gotta work on protecting whatever it is that you need to protect. It's really, really important that you stand up against injustice, that you stand up against things that, you know, it's what we have to get up. We have to stand up. We have to protect ourselves against all odds. We have to work on ourselves. And then on the position of the Wheel of Fortune, you get here the Observer, the number 50, 5 and 0, right? So you moved from Pachamama, which is looking in this direction, from 40 to the number 50, 5 and 0. And 5 is the pentagram that Taurus is holding here in his hand. And then you have 8 pentagrams, which are also telling you, okay, you got to learn your craft. So maybe you got to learn photography. You got to learn how to work your ideas. And even though Pachamama is looking into the big cycle, here in the small cycle, we can work that. We can take pictures here, right? Here it is where we learn the craft and create an observing look into this world. Because then on the position of the Hanged Man comes this beautiful stone, which is the Colestine, the number 15. The 1 and the 5 then creates a 6, and 6 is connected with Gemini, and the number 15 is telling you that this stone is giving you a consciousness to the sphere of angels and the higher consciousness or higher energies, an open channel for communication with your spirits, with the people that help you, and your universal consciousness. Wow, very interesting, right? So it's almost like she's focusing at that. She's looking at this stone. She's looking at this heart-shaped stone that is giving her a higher consciousness, that's giving her now help, right? You defend it to people. Now you have a higher consciousness. You can see deeper and clearer into what it is really that you want to do. And you want to be more connected with a higher consciousness, and that's where you focus in the arts. And arts are always a play of the soul. The soul likes to sing, to play, to dance, right? And so you have a focus into that, because then on the position of Scorpio, which is the sun giving the light to the moon, is coming now the Libra energy, the justice. And so you have again a number 11. So here you get the visual of, here this is Libra and this is Leo, and so you have an 11-11 portal framing the 15, the number 6, and the 6 is self-love, a love that when you connect with higher consciousness, you cannot help than just really love yourself. And so the 11-11 portal is bringing you Leo and Libra, is bringing you the power to have the strength to be just, to be equal, to be in the center, to be understanding that justice is something that we have to feel in our heart, right? That is that understanding that the heart is bringing us that kind of consciousness. So then on the position of the moon, which is then of course connected with you, so which is then connected with this card, right, comes the number 49, which is calculated together, the 13, and 13 is Scorpio, and Scorpio comes here. So you are gonna understand that there is something written in the sky, that your fate is written in the sky, that whatever you're defending, whatever you are fighting for, will be already as a karmic tool, because the justice card is letting you know justice is something that cannot be forced out of no one. If he's not doing it willingly out of something that he feels is important to him, you cannot make someone become just, right? So the justice card is something that is highlighting your moon, is giving you the power to say, okay, let go of thinking you're just. Justice will be just. Justice will always be just. So it's written in the sky. You're going to learn your lesson. You're going to learn that something powerful is going to be transforming you, because then you get another 40 portal, the atom on the position of the sun. And the sun then, in the understanding that here the justice is coming through this portal, through the portal for Pachamama, 4040 portal, that Pachamama is recreating, rebuilding itself, is evolving as well. There are more species just being evolving itself than we could ever count of. And so it's very interesting that here on the position of the sun, where the justice is a new atom, a new energy that can be created, a building block, right, to create something completely new. Because then on the position of the judgment, which is renewal, which is awakening, comes this beautiful card. Then you can fly, then you have created something completely new, and the word here is change. For a change, do something you usually do a certain way in a different way, the number 7. And so this change is speaking about, do not fight, right? Do not defend. Do not despair. Do not think that you have to always fight to be just. You don't have to do anything. Justice is gonna play out, and justice is gonna always be just, and things will always come to the people in a way that you never could imagine. And so understands that this flight of this bird, and here the lunar eclipse, it's almost kind of like, right, the moon at night, and then there's a lunar eclipse is coming in between, right, the earth and the moon. That's where Scorpio, the justice coming up, and on the position, of course, of the sun comes the atom. So there is something new that's gonna want to come to you, a new awakening, a new change that is gonna come through you to this world. And then comes here the 9 of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces, and Jupiter in Pisces is the change, is the 9. And the 9, as you can see now, right, we said that we have 2 water signs that look at you through the sun, which is Pisces and Scorpio. And so the happiness, the true happiness, the 9 of emotions, is the luck card, right? It's a card that is helping you to realize that on the position of the world comes an emerging and diving deep down into your subconscious, learning everything there is to learn about happiness, true happiness, a completion that is letting you know everything is okay, you don't have to worry. The 9 is the completion, which is here with the 4 and the 9, but that's then the 13, and the 13 is Scorpio, right? So again, remember Scorpio, the sun in Scorpio, and behind it Pisces, and so Jupiter in Pisces is coming, is that deep down you know exactly what you got to do. Deep down you know that, okay, this path here in this physical plane, we got to go from left to right, and the other path goes from right to left, and that's from within to the out, and the other one is from the out within. Both of them are important. So you diving down, you doing something different for a change, right? You don't want to do something, you don't want to fight anymore, you don't want to be fighting in general. You want to arrive in your serenity, in your center, and this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna come deep down into yourself, and then you're gonna see how the Taurus energy is sitting here and is like sitting in a cross-legged position as well, as saying all is well. We are, when we know the within and the without, and we exchange that constantly through the breath, through the in and through the exhale, we are always at the right place, at the right situation, and everything is always just right. So here you are getting a powerful message through Scorpio, and of course Pisces behind it. And I hope I see you in the next reading, because then the Earth is spinning in such a way that we see behind the sun the constellation Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the action. Sagittarius is a little bit that don't take that kind of action anymore. Allow to just relax for a moment and see more the observer, become more the creative spark that is then focusing on this, on the number 6, on the self-love. And that's where you are gonna feel in the next reading. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.